Hello BookTube, it's Ben here from the History Fellow channel. I'm back today with another book haul. It's the second half of the book haul that I did in yesterday's video. So I hope you're all still well and happy. And let's get started. We've got 11 books by Pen and Sword, White Owl Books, Green Hill Books and Air World. So I've got 11, so let's get going. The first one, I like the Untitled. More Lives Than a Ship's Cat. The most highly decorated midshipman in the Second World War. G.A. Mick Stoke, MBE DSC RN. And it's written by Jeremy Stoke, so I'm not sure whether it's his son or a relative. I shall find out and let you know. The little bit on the inside says, by any standard, Mick Stoke's experiences in the Royal Navy during the Second World War were remarkable. Aged 19, he was mentioned in dispatches and awarded the Distinguished Service Cross for his courage under incessant bombing during the siege of Tobruk. He survived multiple torpedo attacks, firstly served on the cruiser Glasgow, which was hit twice, on the battleship Queen Elizabeth at sea and blown up by human torpedoes at Alexandria, and on HMS Hardy, struck in January 1944 while escorting Russian Arctic convoy JW-56B. In 1942 he was serving on HMS Carlisle during the fiercely fought Malta convoys and took part in the Battle of Sirte. Later that year he was awarded the MBE for outstanding bravery, resource and devotion to duty during very heavy bombing. At the port of Beaune during Operation Torch, he went on to serve at D-Day and later in the Pacific on HMS Raja. It is a privilege to read Mick Stoke's graphic and modest account of his naval service in the Second World War. Readers will appreciate and understand how he became the most highly decorated midshipman in the Royal Navy. That sounds quite interesting. On the Queen Elizabeth at sea and blown up by human torpedoes at Alexandria. Sounds interesting. There we have it. More Lives Than a Ship's Cat. The most highly decorated midshipman in the Second World War, written by Jeremy Stoke, published by Pen and Sword Books, and it's £25. The next book is, I've already read a couple of these books, only about a week or so ago. This is about the Titanic. This one's looking at the individuals, key figures aboard RMS Titanic, superstars and scapegoats. So there's obviously a tale there. Anthony Nicholas. Published by Pen and Sword, and it's £20. I'm hoping this one's going to be as good as the two I read last week because they were brilliant. 110 years after the sinking of Titanic, the book reveals a series of key characters who affected the fates of the ship and its passengers. For the first time ever, the book explores each of these individuals' histories, backgrounds, and life experiences. Provides context for their actions on the night that the Titanic sank. Discusses how their combined decisions, actions and omissions impacted the events on that night. And that's £20 by Pen and Sword Books. Right, the next book is history related, but it's more about, well, I'll show you. This is a book called Carry On Regardless. Getting to the Bottom of Britain's Favourite Comedy Films, written by Caroline Frost. The Carry On films were a movie franchise in the UK, sort of back in the late 60s, 70s, early 80s, where you'd have films like, you know, Carry On Camping, Carry On Sergeant, that sort of thing. And it revolved around the same actors and actresses, all playing slightly different parts in each film. And they became like a film gang who produced all these films. Exclusive interviews with the stars including Bernard Cribbins, Angela Douglas and Kenneth Cope. Personal memories and previously unshared stories from family members of Carry On's biggest names, on and off screen. A thoroughly modern review of Carry On's biggest titles, showing just how progressive they really were. 3 of the film's biggest female stars explain why the series was never sexist, whatever its critics may say. It kind of fell into the comedy genre. People used to say it was a bit sexist, a bit out of date, very chauvinistic, a bit like if you've seen films of Benny Hill or TV programmes that were that kind of humour. Well, if you can all imagine what humour and comedy was like back in the 70s, so it was that kind of thing. But that's Carry On Regardless, published by published by White Owl Books, and that's priced at £20. Again, I'll put a link below this video where you'll be able to get all these books, so if you fancy getting yourselves a copy, just click on the link. It'll take you to probably the Pen and Sword website, and just fill in the little search box and it'll find the books straight for you. The next one is Pirate Queens. The Lives of Anne Bonny and Mary Read. And this is written by Rebecca Alexandra Simon. In a world dominated by men, Anne Bonny and Mary Read were 2 of the most infamous pirates in the 18th century's golden age of piracy. Pirate Queens, The Lives of Anne Bonny and Mary Read is the first full-length biography of these brave and brutal women, featuring a new and original research that debunks myths surrounding their journeys into piracy. The author Rebecca Simon is a world-leading expert on pirates. I'm looking forward to this one because from where I live, it's reported that the pirate Black Bart came from here. So we hear quite a bit about Black Bart and his exploits. So it'll be interesting to see whether he comes up in this, or if there's any sort of connection with piracy and where I live in this book. That's published by Pen and Sword Books and it's priced at £20. The next one is called The Knights of Islam. The Wars of the Maluks from 1250 to 1517, written by James Waterston, published by Greenhill Books, and this is priced at $14.99. It's quite a thick book and quite decent, and there's plenty of text in, so it's certainly a good price for the book. The author brings together a wealth of information which has until now only been available in highly specialised academic journals and scholarly books. At one distant point in history, the Mamluks were the greatest body of fighting men in the world. They were the quintessence of the mounted warrior, reached near perfection in their skill with the bow, lance and sword. Excuse me. Their story embraces many of the great themes of medieval military endeavour, the Crusaders and the deadly contest between Islam and Christendom, the Mongols and their vision of world dominion, Tamerlane and the Scourge of God, and the rise of the Ottoman Empire. James Waterson's history is comprehensive, beautifully illustrated, and critically acclaimed account with a dazzling array of themes and characters. So that's The Knights of Islam by James Waterson, published by Greenhill Books. Now the next one, we're going back to World War II again. And this is Mosquito Intruder Pilot. A young pilot's World War II experiences in Europe and the Far East. Written by Jeremy Walsh. Ben Walsh lied about his age to join the RAF, determined to play his part in the Second World War. He volunteered to be an intruder pilot, flying low-level operations in the dark. Initially flying ops in Douglas Boston Intruders, and then converted to the legendary de Havilland Mosquito. Ben flew ops for 3 years, starting in the skies over Europe with 418th Squadron, then ferrying one of the first Mosquitoes to India before flying in the Burma campaign with 27 Squadron under Wing Commander Nicholson VC, and finally with 45 Squadron. The Mosquito developed problems in the severe climate it encountered in the Far East, which resulted in the aircraft being temporarily grounded in November 1944. This saw Ben undertaking 13 operational sorties in venerable tiger moths in Aachen. Although Ben survived belly landings, crashes, enemy fire and engine failures, the strain of combat operations took its toll on still a young pilot. He and his navigator asked to be removed from operations, but their request was denied, both being threatened with court-martial. So that one sounds like it's going to be quite interesting. That's Mosquito Intruder Pilot, published by Pen and Sword Books, and that was priced at £25. The last hardback I've got here is you'll have to excuse my pronunciation, but Carmen Pommies. Yeah, just imagine I'm saying it with a French accent. Carmen Pommies, football legend and heroine of the French Resistance. Written by Chris Rowe. This is one I actually don't remember asking for, so but she sounds interesting anyway. Carmen Pommies is a significant figure in the history of women's football in the interwar years. Carmen was in the first generation of women's sports in France, first in athletics, winning medals throwing the javelin in international competitions and playing football for Femina Sports and France from 1920. Her life in sport is intertwined with key personalities such as Alice Millier and Violet Morris. Carmen also played a huge part in the story of women's football in England. She played many times for and against the famous Dick Kerr ladies of Preston, including their 1922 football tour of the US. I shall give it a read. Carmen Pommies, £25, published by Pen and Sword Books and written by Chris Rowe. Right, that is then the end of the hardbacks, and then I've got 4 left, and they're these type of books. I didn't actually realise it was these ones that I was requesting, but I do enjoy them, but they're more there's a lot less reading, and they're more aimed at model makers and crafts people that like to build models. But this is the Panzer IV medium tank, German Army and Waffen SS, Normandy campaign, summer of '44, and that's written by Dennis Oliver. And basically, with the books, got like a regimental history of who was using the tanks. It's got a lot of pictures, specifications, and how the tank was maintained and updated. But then you've also got various pictures of models that people are building, and then you can put their different types of when they paint the vehicles, they can put different types of operational warfare of particular theatres. But it's really good. There's some models, and what you get with this is you do get a little bit of history that accompanies all these pictures. So you get the history, and you get the pictures for the model makers. But they're only saying, I think they're about 66 pages long, but they're quite good if you're into model making. And as I said, I had 4. I've also got the Panther medium tank. Let me sort the light out. German Army and Waffen SS. These tanks were used on the Eastern Front in the summer of '43. Again by Dennis Oliver. But a third one, the M60 main battle tank. Now this is America's Cold War warrior from '59 to '97, and written by David Grummet. And again, like the previous 2, although they were a couple of German tanks, that follows the same format too. And then the very last one I've got is British Escort destroyers of the Second World War, written by Les Brown. And here we have like specifications and drawings of the ships. You've got the history, all the camouflages, and lots of colour photos. But again, it's primarily aimed at the model makers, but they are quite interesting. And these are all priced at $16.99 each, and they're all published by, that one's by Seaforth. and the other 3 tank ones are by Pen and Sword Books. So there we go, that's the end of this book haul. Again, if you've managed it this far, well done, congratulations. I shall be back with some more videos soon. I've been ordering second-hand history books off eBay, so I might do a book haul about them, and I've got some other videos in mind as well, so keep an eye out. Other than that, please stay safe and well. If you've got any comments about any of the books, just write them down below and I'll reply to all of them. Give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and make sure you've subscribed, and I shall see you very soon. But thank you very much for watching.